Okay, I'd like to bring this meeting of MPC for December 8th to order. We are conducting this meeting via conference call in accordance with the Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Please note this call is being transcribed and will be uploaded to our website and or social media. To eliminate background noise, please mute your phone. If you've submitted a comment request, the chair will call on you at the appropriate time. The chair may also openly ask for comments and concerns from the public relating to a particular topic at this time. At this time, phone-in lines will be unmuted. If you'd like to speak, please use your name. We ask that only one member of the public speaks at a time. Everyone has a right to be present at this meeting. Any attendees that are considered disruptive to the progression of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the chair, as per MGA Act Section 198. We thank you for your cooperation and understanding. As we have people that are in person and via the phone, I will take a roll call now. Member Eichert is here. Member Link.
Good morning.
Member Wilson.
Present.
Member Kester.
Present.
Member Bigger.
Here.
Member Armstrong. No. Member Clausen. Okay. With that, we will get this show on the road. We have a copy of the agenda in front of us. Can I have somebody, are there any additions?
I'll move the agenda as presented.
Member Kester has moved. We will do this as a negative. I will ask if there's anybody opposed, and if there's no opposition, I will assume that it is passed. Any opposition? Hearing none, we will move on to the adoption of the minutes for November 17th. They're in your file on your computer. And I have somebody adopt the minutes.
Also move. Donna.
Thank you, Donna. Anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition, they are passed. We will now move on to development permit applications, DP 2020-135.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I did have somebody volunteer to go through the pages as I tell you what page to look for in the council chamber. So I don't know if Sherry's there to do that. No?
Everything is up on the screen here, so everything looks good.
Awesome. Okay. So our first application is DP 2020-135. So I would ask that we go to page 11, Appendix A. It is a multi-lot subdivision on the northwest side of Eagle Lake. And on the same page in Appendix B, we have the circulation map. We circulated to adjacent landowners of the subject parcel +1. So the neighbors on the northeast side, lot 69, submitted a letter in support of the variance for the shed that is adjacent to their shared property line. We circulated to internal staff. The deputy regional fire chief mentioned that it appears to be a good separation gap between the side of the lean-to and the structure on the neighbor's property, so the dwelling. However, it is right against the property line, so would increase the chance of an exposure fire to the adjacent property. And the same comments for the shed on the other side, on the southwest side. We had a comment from one of our planners saying, is there an option for an encroachment agreement? And we did not circulate to any agencies. So if we go to page 12, Appendix C, we can see the aerial photos here, and it is zoned Eagle Lake Restricted Residential. So Appendix D on the, so here we'll stop here on page 12, sorry, Appendix C. So as you can see on page 12, the two circled areas in yellow, these are the two variances. On the northeast side, we have a shed too close to the property line, and on the southwest side, we have a lean-to that's attached to the dwelling. And so we'll go now down to the next page 13, Appendix D, and here is the site plan. So it shows the shed and the lean-to. The shed is 0.09 meters from the property line, and the lean-to on the other side encroaches over the property line 0.26 feet or 0.08 meters. Appendix E on the following page. We will just talk about the, let's see here. On the southwest side, we will be, so here's the lean-to, a picture of the lean-to. On the southwest side, it will be 0.08 meters over the property line, and the required setback for a principal building is 1.22 meters. So the lean-to accommodates the water well, which is against the outside wall of the structure. The RPR for the neighboring property on this side indicates that the dwelling is 2.96 meters from the property line. So now we'll move on to talk about the shed on the northeast side. So if we go down to the next page, 15 and 16, Appendix E. On the northeast side of the property, we are 0.09 meters from the property line. So go down to page 16 there's a better picture. And we should be 0.91 meters for an accessory building to a property line. We found an RPR for the neighboring property showing that the dwelling is 3.30 meters from the property line. As you can see, the next Appendix F on page 17, there was a letter in support from the neighbor on this side, stating that they had no objection to the variance on this side. Some policy evaluation. So we're going to have to bounce back up to the photos here in Appendix E on page 16. So neither of these buildings meet the setbacks requirements of the LUB. However, they do meet the requirements for approving a variance, as they should not affect the neighborhood or neighboring parcels of land as per the following. So in this instance, the dwelling is 3.30 meters and the shed is 0.09 meters away from the property line, for a total between the two buildings of 3.39 meters. If each structure had met the required minimum setback, the difference between the two buildings would be 2.13 meters. So as it is, the distance between the two is greater than if each building had met the minimum setback. And the neighbor on this side has submitted a letter in support. If we go up to page 14, we can look at Appendix E on page 14. So you can see here that the same rationale applies for the lean-to. With the encroachment, the 0.26 meter encroachment, the distance between the two structures is 2.70 meters. If each structure had met the minimum setback, the distance between the two would be 2.44 meters. So we did add a condition, however, that an encroachment agreement must be entered into with the neighbor on this side. The variance is conditional upon this indication of support from the neighbor. So in conclusion, the recommendation, if you want to look, is on page 6. We are recommending approval that the lean-to variance be approved with the condition that an encroachment agreement be signed and the documentation submitted to the county. And we are recommending approval of the variance for the accessory building on the northeast side. And MPC has 3 options that are listed on page 9. And that concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? There are no questions. What are MPC's wishes?
I'll move administration's recommendation to approve the variances outlined on page 6 and 7.
Thank you, Member Link. Is anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition, that is passed. We will now move on to DP 2020-137.
All right, so if we could now go to page 22 of the agenda package, Appendix A, we see the location plan, and this is located northwest of Ardnode on Range Road 255. On the same page, Appendix B, we show the circulation area. And I guess I should say that this application is for a new shop with a variance to an internal subdivision road. And the circulation area here identified on page 22 shows we circulated within 1 mile. We didn't have any responses. We had no concerns from internal staff, and we did not circulate to any agencies. We go down to Appendix C on page 23. We can see some aerial photos. So the property is zoned country residential. If you look on the 2007 aerial photo, you see this ghosted shop site where they had their concrete pilings put in, and the road was not built yet. So in 2008, the property was subdivided, so there's 3 more parcels created and the internal subdivision road in 2008. At the time, the land use bylaw required a 25-foot setback from a side property line, which is probably what that was at the time. They had put the pilings 28 feet from the property line. But since the internal subdivision road has been constructed, now the setback is 50 feet. So we have now new owners who would like to construct. If we go down to Appendix D on page 24, they want to construct the shop in the same location where the concrete pilings are, and they need a variance because it will be only 28 feet. So our policy evaluation, the proposed building does not meet the setback requirements of the land use bylaw. It does meet the requirements for approving a variance, as they should not affect neighboring parcels of land. Variance is not adjacent to a side yard which is shared with an adjacent parcel. The proposed site still meets the setback to the neighbor's property. No concerns were raised by neighboring landowners as a result of the circulation, and the Transportation and Infrastructure Department had no concerns in relation to the proximity to the internal road. So in conclusion, on page 18 of the agenda package, we are recommending approval of the new shop with the requested variance. And on page 20 lists MPC's 3 standard options. And that concludes my presentations. Please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions? MPC's wishes?
I'll move the recommendation from administration that the MPC approve DP 2020-137 for the variance to the setback for an internal subdivision road, subject to the following conditions on page 18.
Thank you, Member Wilson. Is there anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition, DP 2020-137 is passed. We will now move on to DP 2020-138.
This application is for a dwelling accessory, so an accessory dwelling. And if you could go to page 30 of the agenda package, Appendix A shows the location plan, and we're 5 miles west of Standard here. On the same page, we have the circulation map. We circulated to adjacent landowners within 1 mile. We did not receive any responses. Internal staff had no concerns, and we did not circulate to any agencies. So if we go down to Appendix C and D on page 31, we have a site plan. The property is zoned agricultural general. The existing residence, the primary residence will be 2,000 square feet, and the new manufactured dwelling is 1,216 square feet. Appendix D just shows a more wider view of the property, showing the long access road driveway that they will share. They will also share their water well, but they will have their own septic system. And on page 32 is just another view of the property. There's an undeveloped road allowance on the east side, so they had to meet that setback, which they do. And if we go down to page 32, or sorry, page 33, Appendix E, we couldn't get an illustration of the new dwelling other than the floor plan and then the colors of the exterior. So it does show that the siding is gray and the roof is black. We're not concerned with any of the aesthetics being a brand new building. So that concludes presentation other than the recommendation, which is found on page 25. And we are recommending approval for the dwelling accessory with the conditions as noted. And MPC has the 3 standard options found on page 28. And that concludes my presentation. Let me know if you have questions.
Thank you very much. MPC's wishes.
I'll move that Municipal Planning Commission approve Development Permit 2020-138, subject to the conditions on page 25.
Thank you, Member Link. Anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition, DP 2020-138 is passed. We will now do DP 2020-151.
All right, so the location plan is on page 40, Appendix A. And this application is for a home-based business type 3, which offers a variety of experiences and services on the parcel. The circulation area on the same page, Appendix B, shows we circulated within 1 mile. We haven't received any responses. We circulated to internal staff and there was a question regarding signage, but there will be no signage installed. Circulated to Alberta Health Services, but no responses at the time of this report. So if we go down to Appendix C on page 41, the property is zoned country residential. So they want to offer a variety of services utilizing the dwelling, the hot tub, and a proposed dome structure. There's going to be 9 parking stalls on the property, 10 to 20 customer visits per week between the various uses. They're proposing 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. depending on the service, such as the stargazing hot tub rental may be late into the evening. And it's only proposed for Tuesdays and Wednesdays every other week, year-round. So they are aware that they will need to meet Alberta Health Services requirements for a public facility and have insurance for short-term rentals. Appendix D on page 42, we have aerial photos. Our policy evaluation, the HBB3 is a discretionary use in the country residential district. This proposal falls into the category of HBB3 due to the accessory building that they would like to put up. So if you go to page 43, Appendix E, you can see an example of the dome structure that they would like to put up to accommodate some of their uses. There will be no outdoor storage, and it does meet the MDP requirements to facilitate employment near the place of residence for individuals. So in conclusion, agenda package, page 34, recommends approval of the HBB3 with the conditions as noted for a 2-year term. So that would expire December 8th, 2022. And MPC has 3 response options found on page 37. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you very much. MPC's wishes.
I'll move that MPC accepts the recommendations as proposed for DP, get that number, 2020-151.
Thank you, Member Bigger. Is there any opposition? Anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition, it is passed. I think that covers the agenda. And if that's the case, We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody that phoned in. I move to adjourn. Thank you. That's it. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Good week.
Bye.